Hi guys, you know what time it is. It's Wednesday, January 21st, and it's Empire time. Tonight's episode, The Devil Quotes Scripture, Season 1, Episode 3. Let me just say this first. There is a theme that's running through this show, and if y'all don't catch it, I don't know what's wrong with you. But all we talk about or comes up is the Bible, Leviticus, Lucius or Lucifer, the devil. Now they got the devil quoting scripture, the Bible. Um, this is there's a Bible theme. I guess maybe I don't know if you want to say Christian, but there is a theme in here that tells us that in essence everything they're doing is wrong, and not just Lucius. Everybody is playing on everybody. Tonight, I wrote me some little notes to keep up with so much. But we have Tiana and Veronica, the girl with the bald head. They're doing a video with some sexy, muscly men, and they're crawling all over the floor and things like that. This is how we start off. So we've got Hakeem and a couple of his boys sitting up drinking some champagne or whatever, watching. Lucius comes into the video shoot. He likes it. Walking up behind him, talking mess is Veronica's cousin, who is also her manager. And he eating a donut, and Lucius turns around. He said, do I know you? He said, oh, I know who you are. You that, what do you call him? Fat, loser, so-called manager, cousin of Veronica's. And the guy's talking about, well, we need to talk about, because you made a lot of promises to Veronica and it's not happening. Because Veronica got bumped in the video shoot. She feels like Tiana did it on purpose. Lucius said, well, we're going to have a meeting later on, and she and I will talk about that later. He goes, I know it's a meeting because I'm going to be there. So then Lucius jumps up and says, well, you know what? If you want to meet, we can meet right now. We can go in my trailer and we'll get the meeting over. So you see them two walking out and kind of chitty-chatting. Yeah. And he opens the door and invites the manager in first. Then he takes this cane from one of the bodyguards. There's two bodyguards standing on the ground on either sides of the door. He goes in there, and next thing you know, he is wailing on this dude. All you hear is hollering and beating and hollering. So then Lucius opens the door, come out, he gives the cane back, and he tells one of the security guards that the manager, whatever his name is, he had an accident. You might want to go in there and clean that up. Oh, and let Veronica know her ex-manager will not be at the meeting this afternoon. I'm like, wow, this nigga is too much right off the top. So he beats the shit out of him. And then Cookie comes over to him. And really, she's kind of tripping about her cousin. She wants Bunky, who he killed. She wants the funeral to be right and everything the way it's supposed to do. He assures her that everything will, and kind of ushers her to go to leave. She'll never leave without a fuss or the last word, but she did leave. Then they're having a meeting, and Lucius looks at a magazine cover and sees that King Fufu, that rapper that he fired last week, is on the label. He got signed by another artist or another label. But the way the magazine puts it, it looks as if they snatched him up from Empire Enterprises, which they did not. So Lucius is telling in the meeting that he wants to make sure that y'all get that straightened out. I don't want nobody looking like they got snatched from me when that didn't happen. Then we see the detective, and he comes in and he talks to Lucius, and he tells Lucius that they might have a witness to Bunky's murder. They're not for sure, but they think they do. And as it comes out, they come out later to talk to this bum, and the detective's partner is like, yeah, good luck getting anything out of this guy. And the guy seemed really beat up and out there, don't you think? And the next thing you know, the guy is rambling just some random things off, nothing that makes any sense. So the detective leaves, but kind of with a feeling like this guy has more to tell him.
Right.
Cookie shows back up, and she wants to talk to the Jurgensen brothers.
Yeah, the Jurgensen brothers are writers for Lucius and them, and she wants them to write a song for Jamal. So she sees them, and Portia lets her know that they're here, and she comes out and she starts talking to them. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the founder of this company. I want to speak to y'all about writing a song for my son." And as she's doing that, here comes Anika, Lucius's wife, and she's in there, busting it up, and "Oh hey, how you doing?" And everybody knows everybody, and she proceeds to let them know in French that
No, they were talking in Sweden.
Sweden, excuse me,
Swedish.
that Cookie's visiting from jail and pay her no mind.
Yeah, and
clearly she caught on. She
right.
Really.
The next thing that we see is that there is a private detective. Lucius is in a meeting with what's his name, Verna?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're having a meeting talking about finances or whatnot. Nothing, no big deal. But in comes Anika. She just busts right in.
Really?
No excuse me, or can I talk to you later?
Nothing.
And she has this fat fucker fighting behind her, and she says, and it's a private detective.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Well, I went out and got a private detective. You should have seen Lucius' face. It dropped. I don't know what he thought this guy knew. Either how Bunky got killed or how he got his money to get this business started, but his face dropped. And then she goes on to say, and I got him to follow Cookie. This whole sigh of relief.
Oh, right.
He just totally had a sigh of relief. And he ends up showing them some pictures of Cookie talking to, or pictures of Cookie in this car. With the white lady who is some kind of federal agent, but her it's kind of shady. You can't directly see her, and but you can see Cookie. So the detective was saying by the look of the car and everything that I think it's federal agents that she's talking to. Well, Lucius ends up going to talk to Cookie, and she was at the wake.
Yeah.
For Bunky's wake, and she was in there crying, and she had kissed the body and stuff, and she was saying how Bunky was just so loyal, and Lucius tells her, "Well, you're not loyal," and she's like, "What?" And he proceeds to go ahead and tell her that he knows that you were talking to some feds, and she tries to deny it. But he doesn't get a straight answer out of her because with Cookie, you're not going to get a straight answer out of her.
No.
Well, just as you're not going to get a straight answer out of him. But later on that night or that in the next day, they're going to go to Bunky's funeral. And Cookie is walking with her sister, Carol, who is Tasha Smith, by the way. I'm glad to see Tasha, always working. And she says, "Did you tell Lucius about me working with the feds?"
Right.
And her sister's like, "No, I never would tell anybody." And she said, "Okay, because he knows." So she sends her sister basically on the trail to find out how did he know, or just keep her ears to the ground so she can know what's going on before he come up on her with something else. Right. The funeral was a pretty good scene as funeral scenes go. It wasn't like tons of people at Whitney Houston funeral because this was a local dude around the way.
Right.
But still, they had Gladys Knight who was singing. She sang a beautiful song. And then Lucius gets up to speak, and really he's bashing Bunky. Talking about how we really know him to be that he was no good and he was slick and trying to get over this and that. But at the end of the day, he still was a good guy and was there for him, and he's crying and everything. And they show a scene on him, and you could see that he's really crying.
Yeah.
So it was, to me, remind me of that he was not sorry for what he did, but sorry that relationship ended because they've been knowing each other since they were 14 years old.
Yeah, pretty much that. It was kind of just like what would you say, like a juxtaposed to him crying and really him faking it as well, trying to put on. So now we get to Andre and Lucius, and Lucius needs the investigation looked into, City Hall, right?
Right, because he needs to know who this bum is.
Yeah, he wants to know who he is and to make sure his back is covered on this investigation. So he asked Andre, "Can you get this done for me?" I don't believe he didn't give him any promises. He just asked him, he's like, "Okay, I'll do it." So he does it, and what he decides to do is take what's her name, Miss Mayor.
She's a deputy mayor, like deputy the assistant mayor.
He proceeds to take her to the office and give her a little act right.
It was now it was clear that they knew each other,
right?
And when he leaned her across the desk and raised that skirt up, yeah, I was sure that they had known each other,
right?
And a couple little this and little that, she was spilling the beans.
Right.
But the funny thing is, when he goes home that night, and I guess he must have told his wife that he got the information. His wife was like, I wonder how you did that. So he says, he grabs her and he pushes her over the same way he did. He said like this, and then he said, she was like, "Oh, call me deputy mayor." Like,
y'all dirty, because everybody know, because he didn't have any protection on.
So. He just hit it raw.
Yeah, he did that. Then we see Lucius with Anika, and he's having pains for his ALS right now. He lies and says he's having his foot is falling asleep. Yeah. She's okay with it because she don't know anything that's going on with his health condition.
Which I don't understand. Excuse me. I don't understand how this is supposed to be your husband and your business partner, and you're so brilliant, and you're a debutante, and you this, that, and the third, and you don't know anything that's going on. You're dumber than dumb. Okay. All right.
But yeah, they're in there talking, and Lucius comes up with the idea to put what's his name? I keep Hakeem and Tiana together, and they want to do a get together party and bring the family all together and do that. So she's okay with it, and then of course they get all lovey dovey towards the end. So they go ahead and do it. So we get to a scene now that we go back to the bum. His name is Old Salty, I guess, in the neighborhood. And the detective gives him six pack of beer, I guess, to get him to talk some more. He does talk, but in poetic form. Like, the detective doesn't get it.
Well, not really. He ends up that is the devil that's quoting scripture, because he's talking about Daniel in the lion's den, and lion. Okay, so then he proceeds to talk about there was a lion in the woods, and then he said there was a lion on the street. And what he say that for? Right. Because the next thing you know, that detective gets a picture right quick on his cell phone, and he shows them, and he said, "Is that the lion?" And the guy says, "Yeah." And so the detective has the information that he wanted to begin with.
Yeah, he's got him in that. So we're in the club now with Hakeem. He's in the club partying and stuff like that. And we see Naomi Campbell walking in. We're like, "Okay, how you doing, Naomi? We haven't seen you in a minute." We're not sure why she's there. They're just kind of like just talking lightly, and we go to commercial at that point.
And they don't really, I don't know if she ever really approaches him. She goes and takes a seat someplace else, you know, but she's at a location where she can see Hakeem if she wants to.
Right. Yes, that got us questioning. Then we find out that Cookie, she finds out that Lucius is following her. That she finds out that Anika has got a track on her. She got the pictures, and she's wondering, okay, because her detective lets her know that somebody's following us, and she's like, "Well, what's going on? Where you get these pictures?" And the detective's like, "Okay, I believe it's Lucius that put a hit out on you to follow you."
Well, no, she said no. She tells that federal agent tells Cookie that shows her the pictures and said that Lucius' wife Anika got the detective. Got a low grade, some kind of name she called him, low grade, cheap, low budget, scrounging PI to have them follow. But the agent said, "Don't worry, we took care of him." In other words, he out the picture.
Yeah.
So, that's how they know the detective is on them.
Yeah, and she lets Cookie know that, and also she lets Cookie know where she can find Puma. And we hear the name Puma at the funeral, and that is an old time friend of Lucius and Cookie, and used to write songs for them. And she wants to know where he is so she can get a song for Jamal. So the detective lets her know where she can find him.
And it turns out that Puma is Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
And I guess he used to write songs and stuff for them, but there was one particular song, and it was about a man that loves a woman, but the woman is not feeling that way about him.
Right.
And it was a song that was written about his feelings toward Cookie back in the day.
Right.
And now Puma has a horse ranch and helping wayward kids or whatnot. And he's telling her, well, I can't do it. I haven't written a song in so long. But he does tell her that I would have never had you do time for me like Lucius. Lucius ain't no good, which now she already knows that.
Right.
But he does tell her, you know what? I got a song that I'm going to send to you. So she takes it and she gives it to Jamal.
Now, we get to her and Jamal, and they Cookie starts having flashbacks of her and Lucius doing the song, the same exact song.
As Jamal is playing the song.
As he's doing it, and, you know, she's having flashbacks and showing that Lucius didn't really want to do it because he knows that Puma likes Cookie, and he doesn't want anything to do with him.
But you can really see that they had a lot of love for her, and that she was really directing his career.
Really.
So that was good.
Yeah, she's telling him to feel it. They show both scenes. She's talking to Lucius, but she's also talking to Jamal. She's telling him to feel the song.
And earlier, Lucius had invited Cookie to a little dinner party. She was the last person invited, where the whole family was going to be there. And it was supposed to be like a coming out party for Hakeem and Tiana as a couple.
Right.
But as we come to find out, we're looking on the pool table, and there is Hakeem and Naomi Campbell.
Yeah.
And they've been together a year, and that's who he likes.
Right.
And he's saying that, you know, we got to keep this on the down low. But it's very interesting because she as old as Cookie is.
Right.
So you got a mama love Oedipus syndrome issue.
Really?
Probably because your mother left you, so now you want all older women around you. Because back in the day, your daddy was probably so busy chasing skirts that you know he had time to raise no kids.
No. But we do get to the dinner party finally, and we start off with Cookie. She's sitting in Anika's seat, and Anika proceeds to come up on her, and she's like, I sit here, why are you sitting in my seat? And Cookie's about to go in on her, but Lucius comes in and stops them and tells Anika, come on, sit over here with me, just take a seat. And of course, Cookie's giving a look of victory, like,
right. Take several seats, as a matter of fact.
Right.
So you got Lucius at one end of the table and Cookie at the other table, end of the table. It's very appropriate. So you got all the kids, and Cookie has already told Jamal, come to the dinner, and I'm going to bring Michelle, your pinup girl Michelle, excuse me, with me, but really Michael. And so they're there. Now they're getting ready to stuff food in their mouth.
Yeah, and Cookie stops them and says, no, in this family we say grace before we eat. So she proceeds to lead up to prayer. Of course, Jamal's rigid. She's like, well, give me your hand.
And he hands her a hand that's stiff, just like this. Like, really?
No open hand, all nice.
Right.
I'll give it a hand. No, but she goes to do her prayer, and she does a whole Black Nativity scene. She's praying like regular, and then she goes in on...
if you saw Black Nativity and you saw the preacher, what's his name? Forrest Whitaker do the prayer. When he starts praying, then he adds on to the prayer that he prayed, God, that my grandson get a belt to hold his pants up and all that mess. It was like that, because after she said the prayer at the end, she was saying, forgive the hoe that had the private detective following behind me. I'm like, what? Snap.
Right. Of course, she's looking crazy.
Right, exactly.
All that stuff. So, of course, they end the prayer and get on to eating.
Which that comes back up because, first of all, Hakeem plays the song for his dad.
Yeah.
And the dad loved it, as a matter of fact. But now he wants to take the song, talking about giving it John Legend some bullshit like that.
Cookie's like, stop.
Right.
And now Lucius wants to proceed to drop a bomb on them and say that he bought the song from Puma and that he owns the song and that, y'all can't do nothing with this. And Jamal gets upset about it. He's like, okay, I sat here and wrote this song. I wrote the song for you, and you sat up and spit in my face, as he later says to his father. But right then and there, he's letting him know, oh, your little girl can do better than you. He's gay.
And so Jamal and Michael leave. Jamal is pissed off once again, not getting the love, respect, appreciation that he actually deserves. So he leaves, and then Cookie told Lucius, "You going straight to hell."
Yeah.
But it was cute. The part is this is that close to the end, and this is when Anika comes out of one room, and here comes Cookie.
And her and Cookie start exchanging words, and Anika wants to proceed, do you know who I am? I'm a debutante, and my mother was a this, and grandmother was a that.
My daddy was a doctor. My mother was a whatever. I'm a debutante. You've been away so long. Do you know what that is?
Right.
And Cookie says something slick, some kind of rich stuck-up bitch or something.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm the bitch that'll cut your throat without losing my pearls or something.
Yeah.
Something whack. And then Cookie's just like, whatever.
Right.
And she goes in to see Lucius because she's looking past Cookie to see that he's struggling with some kind of pill medication.
Yeah.
And she asks Lucius what's going on. He said, I'm just dealing with a little blood pressure. But actually, he needs to take his ALS medicine. He's we're right seeing him before our eyes degenerate in his health.
Yeah.
So ultimately, in the end,
at the end, Cookie lets Lucius know that I know there's something wrong with you. You trying to hide something, but you're not gonna hide it from me.
Right. Yeah, she let him know. Right. Problems. You might hide it from everybody else, but I'm not the one.
Right.
And in the end, Lucius comes to see Jamal, and he didn't really even have a reason to come. He even said that. He just said, I just wanted to see you, because Jamal was very defensive and didn't know what he wanted.
Right.
And he said some kind of speech, you can take all your money or whatever. I can make it on my own. And Lucius was like, that's funny. You saying all your speech, but you up in the apartment I'm paying for.
Yeah.
Said, you know what? We'll move. And we threw the key. He said, give me 15 minutes. The next thing we see them out on the street with all their luggages and whatnot. So. And
we also find out what's going on in their relationship. How come Lucius and him have such a bad relationship? And Jamal goes on to say, you never loved me. You always hated me. You always beat it on me when I was a kid. And he was telling him that you never loved me. And Lucius like, I didn't raise no women, and I wasn't trying to. And he's like, I don't understand you.
He said, I'm a man. I'm a man.
Yeah. Lucius like, I don't understand you.
It was another great night. Yeah. Looks like it's going to be even better next week. You know what? Really? If you notice that they're always turning up the notch. Really? It hasn't hit like a flat level, Every time they turn up the notch, starting with the beatings and the shootings and the this and that. So now we've got the feds. Oh, the feds are not even looking for Lucius.
No.
They see her. It's because of some relationship she had with Frank Gasper or something.
Yeah.
But I think it's that dude that she did the drug deal with.
Right.
So that's what that is about, we found out. But it's always something, it's layer upon layer.
Right.
Keep watching, it only gets better. If you like the review, comment. Tell us what you thought about Jamal leaving out of his own apartment. Is he going to make it, or is he coming back?
Right.
Give us thumbs up. Subscribe. We would love it.
Yeah.
Here's Tori Boo. Go check out her channel. She did a great new video on Jacob Lattimore, who was the star, the young dude in Black Nativity. He's a local dude, hometown Milwaukee boy, where I'm from. So it's really glad to see Milltown on the map.
Yeah.
But you guys have a great night.
See ya.
See ya.